Okay. We are live. Yay. Woo. Okay. I always do that. And then I wonder, like, I catch myself doing woohoo. Okay. Anyway, welcome everyone to the expert interview series. I am so glad you're here. It's Friday afternoon. And I really appreciate you listening, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay. Let me know where you are, where you're from. Put down your state or your country and let us know. Share where you're from. My name is Lisa Mizels. I'm an online visibility strategist, and I help women coaches and entrepreneurs, service-based entrepreneurs, get noticed and get clients online. And I started this expert interview series because I wanted to give viewers, my audience, some practical tips and strategies to continue the momentum that they're gaining in their business. Because what I found is that we can learn. I mean, all the information is out there. Anything you need to learn, you can go learn. It's the implementation of what you learn where we get stuck, right? And so each guest comes on and talks about their expertise, and they're going to give you a tip and strategy or something that's going to help you get to the next step in your business. And I would love it if you would like my page. That would be awesome. And you can give us some hearts. And today I am really excited to bring you my guest, Terry Green. Terry is, she's an online business and marketing strategist. And she's going to be talking about getting started, making a plan, and being consistent, taking action, right? So I am just going to tell the listeners a little bit about you, Terry. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And let me just tell the listeners a little bit about you. So Terry's been in business since 1991. She's the CEO and president of BizEase Support Solutions, an American-based online marketing support company with a team of online support specialists across US and Canada. A past president of the International Virtual Assistance Association, Terry now serves as secretary on the ICF Columbus chapter, the chapter board of directors. The BizEase team excels at helping busy speakers and coaches worldwide to get out and stay out of the marketing overwhelm by providing seamless marketing solutions, from email marketing, setting up shopping carts, editing videos, podcast production, writing blog posts, customizing websites, and managing social media and PR campaigns. BizEase clients, who span over 5 continents, take great joy in allowing the green team to take care of the details so that they can get back to doing what they do best. Personally, Terry takes a stand on trusting and believing in God and impacting the planet by speaking God's word, being loving, and being kind. So Terry's big why is her family. I always like to ask my guests what their big why is. Her why is her family. She says her wonderful husband, 3 grown children, granddaughter and grandson-in-law, and 3 beautiful great-grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
He says, without them, there is no what, so she would have no why. So that's amazing. I love that. Wow. You do not look like you have great-grandchildren.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about how you got started doing what you're doing and how you got to where you are today.
Gosh, I got started because I was a secretary, administrative assistant, whatever you want to call it, for years. You know, as most who become VAs, we love what we do. We just don't like who we do it for. And I ended up, my kids, I had all 3 kids. One of them, I believe, was a teenager, and 2 were preteens, and they were home. And I got a phone call one day, and it was my son and daughter, their typical fight. And I sent my son to his room, and he laughed at me on the phone. And I knew at that point that I had lost control.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things that, fortunately, we could live without my income. So I quit my job and went home. And while I was home, I was in the library one day and found a book written by 40 different women on how to start their own business. And they all referenced the National Association of Secretarial Services.
Oh.
And so I took a look at it, and I ended up within, I believe it was like 6 months. I started my own company. I started out home-based with a secretarial and resume service. Now, granted, I was in a very, very small town, and back in 91, the internet was really just getting started. So in my wee tiny town, they really didn't know what to do with a home-based business. So I rented office space, and I just immediately started sending out letters to our Chamber of Commerce, and that's how I started my marketing. And then, life kind of steps in every now and then and tries to derail you. And so I think it was 1996, I moved my business back home again. I got a divorce and a few other things happened. So I took a full-time job. Fortunately, my boss let me continue to run my business and do work when I didn't have work for him. I was doing transcription and things like that, so it was pretty easy. So when I ended up quitting my job back in 2004, we decided that, and I had remarried, we decided that I could start my business back up full speed. And NASS was no longer around, and I found IVA, which is the International Virtual Assistants Association. So I thought, why not? I can do this. It was a little different because you had totally different tools that you used in different things. But I found out I could work for speakers and coaches. That thrilled me. And I just became a VA, and it worked out really well. I got so busy being a VA that I had to bring on a team member, and it just kind of morphed from there. And I still work with professional speakers and coaches, but we have niched down to online marketing support because that's really what I love to do. It's what my team loves to do. And it's a really good fit for my company and my team. So that's kind of how I got to where I am today. Still going strong.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us a little, what is the difference between a VA and somebody who does what you do as the marketing strategy part of it?
I think it's really just in the services you offer, because there are different levels of being a VA, which is one reason why I no longer call my company a VA company. Because I don't mean to offend any VAs out there, but I know that when I marketed myself as a VA, I got the lower prospects who didn't want to pay very much. Most VAs do a variety of things. I mean, they'll do anything from working in Microsoft Office products to web design, bookkeeping, you name it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you do. For me, since we work in online marketing support, the strategy part just came in as a given, because it's really hard to provide service to clients who don't really have a strategy. They've got to have the strategy first. So we work with clients, one, who have a marketing plan. They know where they want their business to go. They know what they want to achieve. They just don't know how to do it. So if they don't have a strategy, we'll do the strategy for them. We'll sit down and we'll strategize and set up a good strategy that's good for their business, for social media, for email marketing, for PR, for anything really. But it's just that additional piece that in order to provide the best marketing support services with many of our clients, we've got to provide the strategy session first to show them what they need to do and why they need to do it.
Yeah, and that's a big missing piece, I think, because when you're When you're starting your business, you get to a point where you're working with clients and there's all these things that you have to keep running. My friend calls it feeding the hungry monster. It's like feeding that
Yes.
machine, right?
Yeah.
And then so you're like, okay, I need a VA. And so you kind of have like people have maybe an idea of where they want to get to, but when you are working with a VA, you need to be able to tell them what to do.
Hmm.
And so if you don't have that strategy behind it, then I guess that's what they call throwing spaghetti on the wall and throwing a lot of
Exactly.
money at the wall as well, right? Because you're kind of not, there's no direction. You don't really know. And of course, you have to test things. And of course, you've got to try your own
Hmm.
process and do these things. But the strategy part is the most important part,
Yeah,
I think.
it is.
Yeah.
Because one, it will, it keeps you from doing too much and it keeps you from doing too little. Because if
It
you
keep,
don't have a strategy, you don't know what you're doing. So you might just go whole hog with something and be doing far more than you need to do to start with. Or you might not be doing everything you need to do to become visible to begin with. So having a strategy, knowing what you need, knowing where your target market is, knowing what platforms they're on, knowing how they consume their content,
yep.
knowing all of that stuff up front will help you have a much cleaner, more concise marketing plan. And
Absolutely.
it's less money for you too, because you're not paying for all of this additional stuff that you don't need.
Well, and that's it. I mean, that's a lot of it too, is
Hmm.
when you're not focused, everything looks good, right? It's like, oh, well, maybe
Squirrel.
I just, right? Maybe this will
Yeah.
work. Maybe this will work. Maybe this will
Hmm.
work. And before you know it, you've got all these things that you don't know and can't handle doing
Hmm.
all of them at once.
Yes.
And then it doesn't lead, you can tell I've been there before, right? And then and then you can't, you don't have a, if you don't have a focus, you're saying, oh sure, I'll do that, when it
Hmm.
doesn't even fit into your plan of where you're going.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gosh.
it's really important. The strategy is. But like I said, we don't do the marketing plans
Yeah.
because we don't know your business.
Yeah.
We don't know what your desires are for your business. Where do you want it to be in 10 years? I know where I want to be in 10 years, but where do you want to be in 10 years? What do you want to be doing?
Right.
Who do you want to reach? What do you want to be known as? If you
Yeah.
don't know those things, then you're not going to be able to come up with your strategy,
Right.
and then you're not going to be able to do the marketing things that you need to do to become visible.
So what is your favorite thing that you do in your business?
My favorite thing is bring on the clients.
Yeah.
It's just I when I first started talking to people before I had a team, and I saw that people were having a team, I thought, well, why would you want to do that? I do what I do because I love what I do. I just always want to do what I do. And then as I got so busy and brought on a team, as we went along, I realized that it's so much better to have someone else do it. And I could actually run the business. And that's really the part that I enjoy the most. I do my own marketing. I don't, even though I tell my clients, you don't need to be doing that. You need to have someone else do that for you. I do my own myself. I do my blogging. I do my social
Mhm.
media. I do all of that. But then I have the time,
Right.
so it's not sucking away time that I might be speaking or coaching or doing all of those things. But
Yeah.
I really enjoy talking with prospects. I love learning about their businesses and connecting with them. And I'm a pretty good judge of whether or not we will fit
Yeah.
with someone. I've made a couple of mistakes here and there, and it's usually if my team members approach me and they get sick every time they hear from a client, I know that's not a good choice.
Mhm.
Bad client, or
Yeah.
not bad client, but
Just
that's
not a
not a
good
good
fit.
choice.
Yeah.
But usually I can sit and talk to someone on a phone call and get to know them and know quickly whether or not we would be a good fit. And
Yeah.
that's really the part I like the best, I think. I do enjoy marketing my own business. I enjoy blogging. I enjoy being on social media. I am one of those that Facebook is always on. I try not to get stuck down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But so much of it is still, it's actively marketing.
Yeah. It's being out there.
Yeah, that's where my target market is. I mean, you can't do that on LinkedIn. You can't really have conversations, but Facebook you can. So interacting with even some of the silliest little things on Facebook, when it's someone in your target market, can blossom into a really nice relationship. So that's all the part that I enjoy the most.
And I love your blog posts are just
Thank you.
So valuable, so great. And the gift that you have that I've downloaded is really amazing too.
Thank
so
you.
Yeah, super helpful. So let's dig into the tip about getting started, being consistent, taking action, all of that. What do you want to tell people about that?
Well, when I asked you about that question, you said it could be something as simple as getting started. And that, when I first started, I mean, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing, except that 40 other women had done it. And it was something I wanted to do. So it really was just getting started. But it was also, I had my own space. I changed one of the bedrooms, the spare bedrooms, into an office. I set it up. I'd get up every morning, and no, I don't get up and put on pantyhose. I don't know if anybody still wears those.
No.
But, I didn't get up and put on full makeup and hose and shoes and all that. I got up, I was comfortable. But I went into my office every day. I'd go in there in the morning, I'd sit, I'd do whatever I needed to do, whether it was design business cards, send out letters to Chamber of Commerce members, whatever I needed to do to move my business forward until I started having clients.
Yeah.
So it was that consistency every single day, and it worked.
Yeah.
And I had my first client. Gosh, I'd say I had my first client within 3 months. Some local business who needed someone to design their menus for their restaurant. So that's where I got started. But it's being consistent. It's just doing it until you see the results. You can't just start it, go in there, watch TV for a while, and then go find something else to do while you're waiting. You've got to be working on your business, and just it's committing to it.
It is. It really is.
But it's a head. I think it's a head thing. It's a mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Well, getting started could be anywhere along the way of your journey, right?
Yes.
But it's that the thing that's holding you back from becoming who you want to become.
Yeah.
And just getting started there, just getting started doing one little thing that's going to help you get to that place of who you want to become, whatever it is. And it is a process. I remember people telling me like 8 years ago, just keep doing consistently. And I, year after year, okay. But, my journey was different because I had to learn everything, and I, had no clue. But I think, as you go through and you get started doing whatever it is that you need to do consistently, you'll learn more about yourself. You'll learn about what you don't want and what you do want and what feels right and what doesn't, and who, you learn as you go, and you can't learn until you get started. You can't learn it before you're there. Right?
And I think the biggest thing is fear. Yeah. That's what stops people. They're afraid of failing. Yeah. But I mean, I see the little graphic images, the memes on Facebook all the time, that you can't fail if you never start.
Yeah.
And it's that fear of failure. But if you really stop and think about it, what's the worst thing that can happen to you if you fail? You can't take away your birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, so you try something else, but at least
Yeah, exactly.
I see too many, like, take VAs, for instance, so many VAs that they're preparing and preparing and preparing and preparing, but they never start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They just never start, and then they don't understand what happened, and it's because you didn't start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, just that simple. Get started. Just do it. Like Nike says.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
But no, that's so true. And the things that you fear are the doors that you need to go through in order to get to that next level.
And the things you fear at first are so minor.
Well, and
they're
practice
in your brain, they are huge. But when you look back on them, you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't do that because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but you don't know that going in.
You don't know that. And you just keep going. You just keep going. And the more you do, the more, the more you're out. I hate the out of your comfort zone, but it's true. The more that you get uncomfortable, the more practice you have at being uncomfortable, the less uncomfortable you are.
Yeah.
You just are always in the, okay, what's next? What's next? Let's,
Talking to your first prospect, that's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you raise your rates, somebody asks you what your rates are, and it's saying it for the first time is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So most of the things that you're going to do are going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know of anybody that starts something new that hasn't done it before that is not at least a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think that's just,
it's how we stretch.
It can't be comfortable for a baby to stand up and let go of that coffee table or whatever it is they're holding on to the first time.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's just,
it's great.
Just do it.
Just do it. So Terry, what kind of exciting things do you have coming up? Do you have anything planned? Any new things coming out or anything exciting you want to talk about?
I don't know if I want to talk about it. What the heck? Maybe it'll get my fanny in gear. I decided to write a book.
Yay!
And it's one of those things that I look at other people, because one, I used to hate to write.
Mm-hmm.
I swore up and down I could not write. Someone would say, I can't remember what it was for, but they said, write an article on, and they gave me a topic. And it was like, I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
But as I started doing blog posts, and it really started when I started doing my tips, because my tips for my newsletter are really short. Mm-hmm. And they might be a tip about a software or changes to a social media platform. But it's the way my brain works. I am a logical person. I am not a creative. I mean, I can be creative, but I don't lean toward creativity. So I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, I can do this and this and this. It's 1 + 1 = 2. That type of thing.
You're a flow chart.
Yes.
Creatives are a bubble. My husband and I had that conversation the other day. It's like, he's a flow chart, I'm a bubble.
Yeah, I'm a flow chart. So if it's something like a software program or some type of process, my brain understands that process.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for me to write about it.
Yeah.
So once I figured out I really enjoyed writing, it's become much easier. I don't fight it. So I decided, because I was talking to my team copywriter, and she said, you've got tons of content. So I was smart enough to do an if this then that recipe, that whenever I write a blog post, it sends it directly to Evernote.
Oh,
so they're all in one folder or in one notebook or whatever. So I just shared that notebook with my copywriter. And so she's looking at it and laying out an outline and, because if I look at it, this is where my lack of creativity comes in. I can't look at something and say, oh, okay, we'll start with this and then go
Right.
here and this, where she can.
Mhm.
But then I can look at it and say, no, I want this before there, because then I can see it. And
Yeah.
that's where I do better. So we just started. I have the first outline draft, and she said that it should be no big deal to get it done by the end of the year. So that's what I'm shooting for. And that's, talk about being out of my comfort zone. That right there was, okay, that's something big for me, because I want it to be a book. I don't want it to be an ebook.
Mhm.
I don't want it to be just something small. I want it to be a real book, but I want it to be a real book that actually provides value and benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, especially with marketing, I mean, it's not going to be a lot of fluff. I mean, you're still
Right.
going to get my snarky attitude, and I'm kind of, what you see is what you get. So if you're looking for flowery or anything like that, it's
not going to
not
come.
going to happen. No,
That's great.
no.
Well, and that's why there's,
But I'm excited about that. But
that's
I haven't
awesome.
told anybody else though. So this is like, oh my God.
Oh, do you have a name for it yet?
Oh no, haven't even.
That'll come.
Of
I think that
course.
comes towards the end, right?
Well, Jamie immediately started spewing off these things about how to make it cute and all this stuff. And she's got all these things firing off in her brain. It's like, whoa, wait, let's tackle this one step at a time. I mean, this is because when I initially told her, I just sent her an email. I said, do not faint, do not fall out of your chair. That was the subject line. And then I said in the email that I wanted to do a book. So she responded that she was picking herself up off the floor, because I mean, I've been working with her for years and years and
Yeah.
years, and I've
That's
always been so resistant, so
great.
resistant. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Well, thank you for sharing with us. I'm excited that I'm honored that we are the first people that get to know about this.
now I'm committed. Talk about commitment.
Right? Now
Yes,
you got to do it. You got
I
to
got
do
to
it.
do it. Yeah.
So people can find you at bizeasesupport.com. And I'm going
Yes.
to put the link up above
Okay.
and edit this live as soon as we're done here. But before we go, I just want to say thank you so much for being my guest and for sharing your wisdom. And I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I think it's awesome. I just think, you've got a wealth of knowledge, and you've got a team that you bind with, which is really important. I think.
I've got an awesome team. I love them.
Yeah. And that's,
So if they're listening, this is a big shout out to you.
yay.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you again. And Terry, you stay on. I'm going to say goodbye to
Okay.
the viewers, and we will see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and then again next Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time for the expert interview series. So until then, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all later. If you have any comments, questions, please put them in, and Terry and I will be happy to get back to anything that you have questions about or comments on. And what else? Make sure and like the page, and have a great weekend. All right.